Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. First of all, it's always an honor and privilege to be here at Center of Hope and in this wonderful, amazing community that we know and love as Queensbridge, USA. This is an amazing, amazing place. So with respect to all the members of the clergy, my colleague, Assemblywoman Kathy Nolan, Miss April Simpson-Taylor, Miss Marian Jeffries, and everybody, I just wanted to be here today to raise my voice in this very, very important call for justice. Make no mistake, this is a call for racial and economic justice, what we are engaged in right here today. This community has so many great things going for it, but we also have needs, and we need jobs. We need jobs. And what Bishop Taylor is so rightly engaged in is a fight to make sure that if folks are going to come into this community and build and make money, and we have no problem with people making money. We want people to make money. But if they're going to do that in our neighborhood, they should hire people from this neighborhood. That is the right thing to do. I would also add that I firmly believe, as someone who was raised by parents who were in unions, that the operators of this hotel should make sure that these aren't just any kind of jobs, because we just don't want any kind of jobs. We want good jobs with good wages, good benefits, and pensions. We want to lift people into the middle class. So we need these operators of these hotels, and not just this one, but all of them, to respond to the needs of this community, to not just come into the community to make money, but to come into it to serve the community and make sure that this community is part of the success of any establishment. So I stand 100% with everybody here today to make sure that justice is served for Queensbridge, Ravenswood, everybody in Western Queens, and that these operators are responsible. And let me just say, if you are not hiring locally, if you are not making sure that these jobs are good union jobs, you are not doing the right thing by this community. And we have every right, but more than a right, we have an obligation to speak out forcefully and be fighters for justice in this and every single endeavor. With that, thank you so much. God bless everyone.
Marian Jeffries from the local chapter of the NAACP. She's going to come and speak at this time.
Hello, everyone. I'm glad to see this turnout. Jobs, jobs, jobs. We can't say it enough, but that's what we're looking for. We're looking for our community to be raised up, and they can do that with good-paying jobs. Bishop Taylor has the facility to train people, and therefore, the application should come to him for them to build up and get those people that are qualified to get those jobs. To piggyback on what everybody else said, they come to the neighborhood all the time, and we spend our money and no results as far as jobs are concerned. And that is not right. They sure need to hire those people here. If they're going to work in this community, and they're going to be in this community, they should have the community working with them, with the jobs. And I think everybody here understands that, everybody here knows that, and we're going to try our best. We're going to march with Bishop Taylor, and we're going to go to that hotel and let them know that the community is hurting and needs the jobs. Thank you.
Garrett is going to come at this time.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Mr. Garrett.
First and foremost, we got to thank God for allowing us to be here today. Because if it had not been for him, we wouldn't even have woke up this morning. And as far as jobs is concerned, there's a few of y'all who know me out here. I've been putting people to work in the neighborhood for years.
For sure.
And these contractors come into this neighborhood, and like we're fighting for right now, they do false promises. There's no way in heck that we should be as big as we are and just be totally disrespected. I don't know about other neighborhoods, but people feel as though Queensbridge is soft. And I'm here standing with the bishop right now and let it y'all be knowing that that's not the case.
Sure.
We've been around too long and we've seen too much happen. So if we don't fight for what we believe in, we might as well just don't even wake up. If you don't stand for something, you're gonna fall for anything. And people are falling for the okie doke. They telling us one thing, coming into our neighborhoods and not putting nobody to work, and nothing's going to happen unless we stand together. Nothing's going to happen with any one person. No man is an island. We have to do this as a unity in this community. Because if Bishop goes there by himself, thank God I wasn't there yesterday because I probably would have gotten arrested. Because a lot of times we go to these different job sites and we're looked at as the troublemaker, as the bad person. You take these guys who's building these scaffolds, none of which are from this community. They'll come into this community and have 25 people working and then tell us you have to be a certified, some sort of Section 3 to get people to work on the job. And that also applies to union jobs in this neighborhood. They say that we have to give X amount of union jobs in the neighborhood, knowing that nobody in the neighborhood have union jobs. So the unions are shutting down. They're not allowing people to go into the union. So they're just tricking us. And people are fall for being tricked. And it's time for us to stop being tricked. You see these demonstrations, you see Shopton, you see all of these major demonstrations, and a whole lot is being said for 1 minute, and then it just dies down into nothing, and nothing never happens. We need to stop letting nothing happen and stand together as a unity, because when we together march up to this thing, some noise is going to be made. The politicians are already aware of what's going on, and thank God that we have a politician like these guys here, and we have a pastor like this guy here who's fighting for us. And people are not, you got to be in the fight. I don't know what your goal in life is. If you don't fight, what good are you if you don't have nothing to fight for? You gotta get it back in you to want it to be more than what you're being. You're just sitting around not doing anything and complaining about problems that we can fix. Let's be a part of the solution and not part of the problem. Thank you for letting me share this.
Can we ask the bishop some questions?
Just a second. As we prepare to bring this press conference to a close, the message is clear. The clarion call has gone forward. We need jobs and not false promises. And again, let me say, members of this community, you are fully aware of the contribution and the hard work that Bishop Taylor has put forth in this community. And we will not allow the unfortunate incident which took place the other day at the Howard Johnson Hotel to tarnish our goals and our objectives. In the book of Nehemiah, two men, Sanballat and Tobiah, stood forcibly against the prophet Nehemiah as he was engaged in a good work and tried to hinder the progress of rebuilding the walls around the city of Jerusalem. And you remember that the response of Nehemiah was, I'm doing a great work and I can't come down. You all will agree with me that Bishop Taylor has done a great work in this community. And he continues to do a great work in this community. He has worked with the former mayor, Bloomberg, and he's working presently with our current mayor, Bill de Blasio. And we say to you, Bishop, and we encourage you, and we remind you that you're doing a great work and you can't come down. So as we leave, we want to be clear that as we protest, we protest peaceably because we advocate nonviolence. We boycott. We will do whatever we have to do to make sure that equality when it comes to hiring practices here in this neighborhood are done fair. We thank you for coming. Bishop will now, we're going to move forward with the march to the Howard Johnson Hotel, and we ask those of you who will be joining us, and again, thank you for coming. We ask that you would do so in a peaceful manner. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless this neighborhood.
I'm sorry, yes.
Yeah, I mean, we're just trying to find out, when did you sit down with Mayflower and what exactly was promised?
We sat down with Mayflower approximately 10 months ago, and Mr. Gurr came with his representatives, and we sat in my office along with, I had one of my friends that is also Chinese. I have a lot of Chinese friends, and we sat down in my office and had a wonderful conversation. It centered around the fact that the hotel was being built and there was not one person of color from this community or any other community that was on the construction site. And he said to me, well, I promise you that I want the community to have the jobs in the hotel. And he committed his word to me 11 months ago that we would be able to recruit, screen, and send the most qualified candidates to interview for the hotel jobs. As the hotel began, after that meeting, he said, just give us a chance to get a little further into construction. We didn't press them anymore about putting local residents on the job. We allowed them to build with the contingent of workers that they had, which was no representation of people of color and from this community, in the anticipation that the permanent jobs, which were jobs that we felt would be more sustainable and more equitable to the community, would come. So as the hotel began to button up, our team went over and engaged the hotel and asked them for a description of the jobs that will be made available, and they blew them off. Told them to come back next week. They went back the next week and asked for a description of the jobs so that we could put together a solid recruiting plan that would recruit the most qualified people that could interview for those jobs with no obligation on their part to hire anybody that we sent, but at least interview the most qualified people. We've placed 1,000 people in jobs already this year, 800 last year. We know what we're doing. And so when that didn't happen, we planned a march and a protest. The flyers went up all around the community. This was about a month ago, 3 weeks ago, 3.5 weeks ago. And we got a call from a gentleman that said that he was the owner of the hotel and said, what is this protest about? And I said, well, the owner of the hotel told us that we would be able to recruit and screen and prepare people from our communities for the jobs. They came in a couple of weeks ago, myself, Pastor Henson, King, April Simpson, and 2 representatives from the Mayflower Hotel came in, sat down with us, and basically said to us that we didn't have to have a protest, that they will hire from our community. I said, well, we'll send you a hiring plan so that you'll know what we're going to be doing, and we'll also send you some kind of agreement so that we have some assurances that you will definitely keep your word, because it stinks until you put it in ink. He said, okay, like April said earlier, you know, they were joking around at the table, laughing, almost like they were laughing at us, you know what I mean, in a sense. But anyway, the point is, after that happened, they never responded to the agreement that we sent and the hiring plan that we sent. And so I walked over with another member of my team and had a meeting with the hotel people a couple of days ago. And while we were in the meeting, the negotiations broke down. I got frustrated and I walked out. he stayed down in the hotel talking to them further to try to get them to understand what was happening. As I walked out the hotel and into the lobby, the incident that you saw occurred. Again, I regret that that incident happened. I don't condone violence.
So the video everyone's looking at is you walking into the lobby after you had already been negotiating, trying to negotiate something with them, or was that your first time entering at that point?
No, I was coming from a meeting from downstairs in the hotel with the hotel people and leaving the hotel. And again, I regret that I responded out of frustration. I was being detained. You can clearly see that in the video. And, you know, I apologize for the way I acted, but I don't apologize for fighting for the community. Thank you.
Bishop, they say that they say they paid you $4,500. Did you or your organization at any point receive money from Mr. Gug or his wife or anyone from Mayflower?
I hope they do.
As I said, I regret the incident that happened. I've never received $4,500 from Mr. Gurr or his wife. They have, when they early on came into the community, purchased a ticket or a sponsorship for a gala that we had. And I don't know what the amount was. It wasn't $4,500. It should have been $45,000. And so I don't apologize for that.
There you go.
All right, everybody, let's march. Peaceful, non-violent march.